Starting today's vlog, I am a homebody today. I have an off day from work before I return back on a full-fledged. I have an organic veggie garden. Every year I love to grow the vegetables. I will post some of my videos where I was putting seeds that were small seedlings that came out for cucumber, for tomatoes, for eggplant and stuff early in the April. Typically, I start my seeds toward the beginning of March, end of February. Typically, it is toward the beginning of the March, and I have the seeds from my last year's crop. And once they start becoming seedlings, I put them in the ground more toward the April end or somewhere in the mid weeks of the April. But I always reassess the situation. Some of my cucumber plants, probably because of the way we have a lot of wet winter, and the winter probably is extending. We did not had a very good sunny days in last 1 or 2 weeks. At least for last 3 days it has been soaking rain. My cucumbers are not doing that well, so I went ahead and bought some cucumber plants. Here they are. I got some cucumbers. These are more like Parisian gherkins. I have the sweet boys somewhere and sweet slice. Then I bought, of course, the pepper. I have already 5-6 pepper plants in my patch, but I'm going to spread them out. Earlier in the year, I also planted bulbs of the onions, and they're growing very well. They are so aromatous. I've used them as a green onion so far, and they're about this big at the bottom, so I'm not plucked them out. And these are some more tomato plants. You know, whenever your seedlings are already starting, you want to get the plants that have the flowers on that, because that's what perpetuate birds and the insects to spread around the seeds, so that the other plants started having more flowers. That's very important part of the gardening. Another one that I have been growing at home upstairs, and I have grown 3 batches of seeds so far this year. I did not have any success. Maybe the last one that I planted might be successful, I'm not sure. That's okra, and I got this plant for okra. This has 3 okras already in it. Whenever I'm buying plants for the vegetable garden, I'm very careful. I try to buy things where there are 3 plants already in it. Do you see this? They already are 3 plants for the cucumber that are in there. Peppers, of course, you cannot get that. The gardening 101 step is you need to have always your gloves. You don't want to get your fancy manicure dirty, honey. So we are ready. Let's start. These here are about 10 vegetable plants, out of which I already told you cucumbers are 3 in each of these. I have doubled the amount from my own seeds for the year. So any of you that are judging that I'm spending so much time and money into buying these plants, they're gonna give me the whole bunch of crops that I can not only share with me, my family, but with my mom, my extended family, and of course my neighbors, just free, the labor of love. So don't judge, but just imagine how much money and I have put in this versus the price of the groceries that is increasing. Any of you who is thinking to start the vegetable garden, definitely go ahead and do it. You can see how I have used this patch where I have the onions, and in between I have spread out my tomatoes, because the eventual thought is the onions, as the summer gets more hotter, they're gonna come out and they're gonna leave me a lot of space, so my tomatoes can grow here. This is more like a symbiotic farming. In this patch so far, I have already put my peppers in. If you can see, I have the green bells here, and then the cajun, then the Thai peppers, of course, and the sweet orange ones, the box peppers. They are going beautifully well with the eggplant. There is cilantro at the back. There are a few plants I have for the beans here. Once they go bigger, I probably might have to shift them. So far it has only yielded me a 1 bean. I've tried to save it from the rabbits. You do see some of these green onions, but as I told you, eventually as the summer gets hotter, I will probably take these out. And I already have a very beautiful pepper here. You see that? Now is the session for the indoor gardening. I have been contemplating for past few months and looking for the right plant to go in this pot, because this was my, the indoor palm. I think it is called palm aranacea, which is the smaller version of the palm, and it is a perennial, but it has to stay indoor. Now this died. It has been blooming for past 5-6 years. Beautiful. Not sure what happened, but the plant died. So on my recent haul to the local nursery, I got this one, which is again the medium light indoor palm. But this is, I was right, palm areca is the name of it. This was $12.99. I still have the tag, doesn't matter. But indoor plant with the medium light, and you can see how beautiful the blooms of this is. Something about me, when I go for the gardening, I spend about a good 1 hour to look around in the nursery and then see what I want to get. I am a very big fan of perennials. I'm a very big fan of the plants that attract the pollinators. Another gardening 101 tip is, if any of the plant has anything small growing in it, like here, you see ye chote plants, that means the soil is already very healthy. It means it is very rich in nitrogen and phosphorus, which is what you want for the plants. I had this ceramic pot. Oh my God. Does anyone of you have noticed the ceramic pots, the prices? Something similar to this was being sold at $35. Somebody bought me an orchid, one of my neighbors, and the orchid I replanted in something else. So I had this planter, and I am going to just put it in here nicely and just give it a little bit of a soak and leave it on the countertop or somewhere. Such a pretty bloom, and it's such a beautiful planter. Do you see this? It's just so beautiful. Now the next one that I have is my let me see if I can get the focus right, is this thing. This is my bonsai. I love to grow bonsais. I have successfully grown some bonsais on my own, which are in my office, and I have the bonsai planters lying all around my house. All of your bonsai planters, when you're replanting any bonsai, this one was, if I am not mistaken, this was a bonsai of a jade, but many years old jade. But something happened. I'm not sure. Maybe I didn't water it properly, or sometimes our house get very cold. Could be because of that. But buy to this. But such a beautiful root structure that you want to carry around. But all of your bonsai planters, they should have the choti si mesh jo hoti hai na jali ki. You can just put it here at the bottom, and I am going to repot it with something that is a bonsai jade. Now, if you're going to buy a bonsai on its own, it's going to cost you. And an average, a bonsai in a planter like this cost about $45 to $55, okay? But the one-on-one gardening tip is, if you have, or you can get your hands on the planters like this, bonsai soils are not very compact soils. They're very easy soils actually. And all you have to do is just get something that is mixed perlite with this, with perlite. Half perlite and half of it has to be just rocks like this, and then you just put it in your planter. Okay, so let's put it in here. So here is the final product. I have done quite a bit of a dirty work behind the camera, but do you see how beautifully this is? Now jade as it is, if you're going to, oopsie, let's put this back in here. Jade as it is, if you're going to grow this in your office, in your house, this plant does not want too much of a water. I have one sitting on my outside patio. It does not like to be watered too much. It just like to be, leave it alone, please, honey. So I give it a good soak. The reason is the soil was very dry. That's why I think that it deserved. Now after this, I'm just going to leave it, and probably in next 2 to 3 days, it will tell me how it's liking this environment or not. But I always like to add some elements to my plants. This is a seashell. There's some rocks in here. But that just gives a little bit of an interest to anything that you're going to grow. But now another point that is worth mentioning, this is my homegrown jade, okay? Something about jade that you want to know. I started this last winter when my initial jade that was huge, I left it outside, and then the frost came and the snow, and of course destroyed it. I somehow tried to manage to get one of the leaflet of it, and I put it in the soil. Something really, really you need to pay attention with the jade growing is, you see these small leaves in here? They just came down from the plant, okay? All I did is just take these, put them in the soil, let it grow its own root. My uncle do the same thing. He tries to grow jade on his own, and these are all your new baby jades that are going to grow up. The same thing I try to do with this one. These two in here, these small ones that you see, these are also the leaves that are from the jade. I'm gonna just leave it in here, and after a few days you will see. Just give it a little bit of a touch of a soil so that it can absorb the nutrients, and then you will see that there are new roots coming, and eventually there's a new plant. But till that time, definitely like and subscribe. I hope that you liked and enjoyed this gardening session, the homebody gardening session. And I appreciate all of you who have subscribed, who give your time to watch my blog. And this is just nothing, a simple woman trying to make some vlogs about what I like to do in my day-to-day life. Enjoy. Bye.